NBS Live at 9.
A very good evening. Thank you so much. This is definitely a very special one, as you definitely can see. Anything that gets me out of my hiatus has to be special, isn't it?
And it's good to be back.
It definitely is. We are in a nation where men are trying to do everything in their power to fix women. Is it their women only or all women?
All women, and the women are also trying to fix the men.
And how is that going?
Who is fixing the nation?
That's the big question. Who is fixing Uganda? Perhaps a man and a woman. Baram Bargahara and Justin Namere. Boy, are they doing some job of fixing a nation.
We see people already running away.
And people are on wanted list.
Yeah.
Now, they are trying to fix schools all over the country. And you had that story of counting 1, 2, 43, 45. That was some fixing as well.
The numbers.
The numbers. He's got to fix his numbers there. But as well, besides fixing schools, we also have hospitals to fix. It was very interesting to see somebody who is supposed to be working, spending a whole lot of time chasing leave more than he is trying to fix patients.
I'm sure all the nurses now on duty and all the doctors up country. We are hoping so.
You thought it was drones being driven at breakneck speed. I can tell you there's something else being driven at breakneck speed in this country. It is graders. Graders are now becoming faster than Raums and Spacio combined.
I saw that video. Really, effect of Balaam and Honorable Namere.
I can tell you, and I can tell you tonight, that one of those two will be showing up in this interview, and we'll be talking how that fixing is going. My name is Samson Kasumba.
And my name is Sheila Tsime.
And these are your headlines.
The lesson for Ugandans, for our various...
In the news tonight...
Leave aside politics. Leave aside politics.
Uganda's veteran diplomat joins race to become UN Secretary General. Former diplomats welcome nomination of Olara Otunu.
Now that shows that President Museveni is ready to work with other parties in the country.
Fixing Uganda.
So we need to fix the execution.
Say the devil is always in the detail.
It's a lot of money.
We trace the billions pumped into private farms.
Margin of error in calculation. So the contract, the agreement exists.
The business is owned by the private person who brought literally very little.
But what is Uganda getting in return?
This is an investment that needs all Ugandan.
Or is it just a bonanza?
But we are putting $1 trillion there and they are coming for more.
And the good news is Uganda rolls out new systems for village health teams.
Going to be called Leaving No One Behind in the Digital Era.
Also on Live at 9, we look at the troubling trail of Busia's gold rush. Children are pulled from school into dangerous mines as calls grow for tougher action.
What we should focus on is these children going back to school.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Samson Kasumba and Sheila Jusime.
Certainly this nation does need some fixing. We'll need some tools in the works, and we'll do a lot of fixing of it every Sunday. Some of you did a very good job of fixing that nation that we call Uganda yesterday, doing the cleaning. And maybe at some point I'll fix it.
Did you clean?
I'm gonna clean. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist.
Really? Let's get into the news. We start with our story for tonight. Uganda has formally nominated veteran diplomat and former United Nations Under Secretary General Olara Otunu for the position of Secretary General of the United Nations. Otunu joins the race to succeed Antonio Guterres when his second and final term ends later this year. His nomination has been welcomed by former diplomats and political analysts who describe him as a credible and experienced candidate capable of competing for the world's top diplomatic office.
That kicks us off.
For decades, Dr. Olara Otunu has built a career in international diplomacy, representing Uganda on a global stage and rising through the ranks of the United Nations. Now, the 75-year-old diplomat has received Uganda's backing to contest for the position of the next United Nations Secretary General. The nomination has since generated debate among diplomats and political analysts, with many describing it as an opportunity for Uganda to front one of its most experienced diplomats for the world's top diplomatic office. Former diplomat Edith Sempala and Waswabiri Gwas say Otunu's experience makes him well suited for the position.
Ambassador Olara Otunu is a seasoned diplomat. He has a track record. He has been in United Nations before. and represented Uganda well.
He will be incredibly good for this country, especially Uganda and Africa in general, to be representing us because, as I said before, he's qualified. In fact, he was qualified 25 years ago.
But Olaro Otuno, as a person, is a very bright man. He was at Makerere, he went to Oxford, he went to Harvard, and he worked at the UN as a permanent representative of Uganda, and he did very well.
Former diplomat Jack Wamai Wamanga views the nomination as an indication that President Yoweri Museveni is prepared to work with individuals on basis of competence rather than political affiliation.
He's bringing people to work together with him. He's bringing parties to work with him, and if he has nominated Olaro Otuno, that's a great thing. Olaro Otuno, you know what happened in UPC? There were ups and downs. And what Olaro Otuno did, he stepped out and watched the situation.
It is good politics to recognize people with competence, with track record, with experience, and give them the opportunity. And all Ugandans should have that opportunity.
These contend that while Dr. Olaro Otuno possesses the credentials and international experience required for the office, winning the race will require more than a strong resume.
Uganda has come out now to support him, and when I'm talking about supporting him, not only to endorse him, but to support him, to allow him to be able to campaign, so that it should be facilitated to be able to campaign, to go all over the world, to speak to those who are going to be the one to elect him.
Uganda's UN ambassador Donia Ayebale submitted Olaro Otuno's nomination in a letter dated July 24th to the presidents of the UN General Assembly and the Security Council. The candidature was circulated to all 193 UN member states on July 25th, bringing the total number of declared candidates for UN Secretary General to 7. Otuno faces competition from 6 other high-profile candidates, including Rafael Grossi of Argentina, former Chilean President Michelle Bachelet, former Costa Rica VP Rebecca Grainston, former Ecuador ministers Maria Fernanda Espinosa, former Guyana FM Carolina Rodriguez Baquet, and former Senegalese President Macky Sall.
Could say that is one of the best people that could represent Uganda. I think that was a good pick for Uganda.
And this will not have somebody addressing the United Nations struggling to fix his English. Well, now, international relations lecturer Dr. Ahmed Haji says that while Uganda's relations with some of the permanent members could strengthen Otuno's prospects, his bid will ultimately depend on navigating the complex geopolitical interests that define the UN election. Dr. Haji continues to say that beyond the candidate's credentials, the rest is largely shaped by politics at the United Nations Security Council, where the support or opposition of the 5 permanent members with veto power can determine the outcome.
The 15 members that make the UN Security Council cast the vote for whoever is going to be the next Secretary General. And out of the 15, whoever emerges as the leading candidate must score 9 votes without any veto power. So Uganda has a clean record when it comes to the 5 permanent members. Uganda has a very solid relations with the US. Uganda has a very solid relations with Russia, with China as well. Uganda has a very solid relations with UK because we are members of the Commonwealth. Uganda has a very good relations with France as well. So ultimately, if you look at Roberto Grossi, who is actually the more favored, and usually there's a term we use called the front-runner curse. So right now, everyone is ranking him, Roberto Grossi as more like a favored candidate, but there are other members within the Security Council who might actually veto him. So if it's not a female card among the male, then Olaro Otuno stands more higher chances because 1, he has an insider network. 2 is because of the credibility of Uganda. Uganda has been sent to provide peacekeeping operation support for multiple countries.
Still about Olaro Otuno, the big question tonight is who is Olaro Otuno? His nomination definitely marks a striking turnaround, with the government backing a man it previously viewed as an opponent. And here is his profile.
Well, let's get into that profile, if we may, as you tag along with teacher Samson Kasumba. Now, born on 6th September 1915, he is a Ugandan politician, he is a diplomat and a lawyer, and he received his early education at Mvara, Mchwini and Anaka Primary School. Then he received his secondary school education at Gulu High School and King's College Budo. It had to be King's College Budo Dinidid. And then he attended Makerere University, where he was president of the students.
Student, he played an integral role leading the resistance movement against the Idi Amin regime, co-founding and serving as Secretary General of the Uganda Freedom Union, an organization that brought a number of patriotic Ugandans together in the struggle against Amin.
That definitely wasn't all. He's done quite more than that. Facing increased threats from the government, Otunu was forced into exile in 1973, evading arrest and escaping to the out of the country, and that is through Kenya, Nairobi. Very common at the time, everybody went through Kenya. There he received an overseas scholarship. Is it scholarship or scholarship?
Scholarship.
Scholarship to attend Oxford University. In 1976, he attended Harvard Law School, and very few go down that street.
Are you among the few?
No, not for now. Do you want me to mention who else has been there?
Yes.
Well, I'll mention.
Now, from 1985 to 1986, Otunu served as Uganda's Minister of Foreign Affairs and played a critical role in orchestrating the Nairobi Agreement of December 1985. He was later appointed president of the International Peace Institute in 1990 and served in that role until 1998, transforming the profile of the organization, attracting major new funding and expanding its operations.
And if that picture on your screen is anything to go by, many Gen Zs would say Otunu was a hunk.
He was.
He was appointed by United Nations Secretary General Kofi Annan as Under-Secretary General and Special Representative for Children in armed conflict in 1997. And it was on the 19th of August, taking office on 1st September 1997 to 2005. There's something about September.
The best people
Are born in September.
Definitely.
Very interesting. We'll compile a list of the best people born in September. And I can tell you, do you know how much LCs are going to make a month?
How much are they making? Is that why this time there is more pressure and everyone wanting to get involved? Is it about the leadership or the money?
They are spending a lot more money than they're going to be making. And people are already asking questions.
They hope to get that money back?
Are you a candidate? Let's get into LC elections, and the Electoral Commission, the organization responsible for conducting those elections, has confirmed that it is fully prepared to conduct the elections, and that is 71,214 villages across Uganda scheduled for Tuesday. And we all know that's a public holiday, 28th of July next week, as candidates make a final push for votes. According to the Commission spokesperson, Julius Mchunguzi, the Commission is reviewing complaints and irregularities from the Women's Committee elections, insisting every irregularity will be fixed, talking fixing, before voters elect village chairpersons.
The Electoral Commission has started hearing complaints arising from the ongoing electoral process, particularly irregularities that were witnessed during the just concluded Women Council's elections. The Electoral Commission spokesperson, Julius Mchunguzi, says the Commission is aware of these issues and is taking appropriate action to resolve them.
I know that the Commission is handling many petitions, many complaints that have been brought by different actors in this electoral process, complaining about one issue or another, and the Commission has been and continues to listen, to hear those petitions and taking decisions.
Mchunguzi, however, urged anyone with complaints to submit them in writing, together with supporting evidence revealing that investigations are underway into Electoral Commission officials implicated in the electoral malpractice.
No one should interfere with the work of election officials. No electoral official should involve themselves in acts that are against the law and against the guidelines issued by the Electoral Commission.
He reassured the country that elections in all 71,214 villages will proceed as planned.
We don't want to see chaos at the polling stations. We don't want to see violence at the polling stations. We don't want to see anybody doing anything that undermines the integrity of this election, because this election is very important.
But with just days to go, the race for village chairpersons is heating up. In one village, 80-year-old Derek Lukwago is seeking another term after 25 years in office. Despite younger challenges, he says he's not done serving his community yet.
I'm still healthy and strong, and I wouldn't like to leave somebody to take over of the lower standard. I want to get somebody who to start training somebody who will take over when I retire.
With election day just days away, candidates are waiting to see if their promises were enough to win voters over. On Friday, the Minister of Public Service declared Tuesday, 28 July as a public holiday to allow citizens to participate in the local council 1 elections.
Samson, are you ready for the public holiday? Will you vote?
As long as Alan Kasuja announces one in half a sentence, I'm comfortable.
And you will go and vote?
Journalists are supposed to be neutral.
Critics have welcomed the government's renewed hands-on approach under its No More Sleep agenda, saying it reflects a stronger commitment to addressing service delivery challenges. However, they caution that unless the initiatives are anchored in institutions and implemented within established legal frameworks, they risk becoming short-lived, exposing government to costly litigation and ultimately failing to deliver lasting change.
Since the government declared the No More Sleep agenda, many Ugandans initially dismissed it as a political rhetoric. However, ministers tasked with implementing the program have adopted a more visible, hands-on approach, a shift from what critics had long described as a tendency to remain in office with limited action. Despite the increased activity by officials including Local Government Minister Baram Barugahara, Health Minister Dr. Chris Bariomunsi, Works Minister Fred Byamukama, and Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, some political analysts remain unconvinced the momentum will last. They urge that while the minister's intentions are welcome, lasting change can only be achieved by strengthening institutions and implementing reforms through legally established structures.
We've had Bulungi Bwansi for ages. We've had general cleaning days. But most importantly, find a sustainable way of empowering the institutions that are supposed to do it. If you want to buy the buy-in of the public to have a general day of doing it, involve all the stakeholders.
I would like to challenge the ministers to go to the field equipped with knowledge and information.
Others warn that in their drive to demonstrate action, some officials risk exceeding the limits of the law.
Do not destroy the culture of respecting the law.
The ministers need help from technocrats beyond politicking and cameras. Otherwise, what they're doing is their constitutional duty, and all they need is to address it properly.
We saw it when Honorable Nanta was Minister of Lands, where government lost cases as a result of the actions of these officers, like ministers, who sometimes attempt to sack people or even make orders without following the due process.
As an example, they cite the recently introduced National Cleanup Day, which they say lacked sufficient planning before implementation.
In 2 days, and then you're saying we have a National Cleaning Day, you're stopping business, we are losing money without proper implementation. The idea is good, but implementation is poor. Now, look at all the rubbish that we are collected.
I also saw the organization and coordination was not proper. I saw tourist vans being stopped along the road. They could not move. My friend, we are a poor country.
However, Local Government Minister Baram Barugahara maintains that all ongoing activities are being implemented within the law.
Oh, we are not doing Chivandulo operation. That was not Chivandulo operation. Whatever we are doing it within the law. And we are using the mandate as stipulated of a minister.
Balam dismisses claims that the government's current initiatives will be short-lived.
You see, whatever we are doing in our inspections, for your information, we move together with the CID, which is also working hand in hand with the State House Anti-Corruption. And then we have the DPP on the team. We have the Minister of Works person, a team actually of 4 people from Minister of Works.
Shida, do you know any gold digger?
No. Do you know any?
Yeah.
Which gold diggers? The real gold diggers or the other gold diggers?
Gold diggers usually men or women?
Both.
Now these ones are children. The search for gold in Busia district is leaving behind a troubling trail. Not just deep scars on the land, but a generation of children pulled out of classrooms and into dangerous work. A follow-up inspection by labor officials has uncovered miners still working in artisanal mines and markets despite repeated warnings, prompting calls for tougher action against these exploiting our little children.
Since the sub-counties of Butema and Tira in Busia district, the constant roar of machines from artisanal gold miners echoes across the landscape long before the mining sites come into view. Every day, hundreds of people converge here in search of gold, leaving behind vast stretches of land scarred by deep, uncovered pits. But beneath the promise of quick money lies a harsh reality. The mines have become a magnet for school-going children, many of whom have abandoned classrooms for hazardous work, leaving nearby schools grappling with rising dropout rates.
You realize that as you even look at the children who are playing in the school compound, they are much more younger. It means all the children who are energetic and are able to go underground are out of school.
The gold rush has not only disrupted education but also damaged public infrastructure as indiscriminate mining continues to destroy sections of the road network.
These children don't sleep. Should you risk to put gravel on any road, they will go and sweep that the whole night. Take it for washing and get gold out of it.
Alarmed by the worsening situation, officials from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development returned to Busia for a follow-up inspection to assess compliance with directives issued during an earlier operation. What they found was disturbing. Despite previous warnings, children below the age of 18 were still working in the mines for as little as 10,000 a day.
10,000 is not enough for these children for now. What we should focus on is these children going back to school, having a bright future and a future generation that will make these kids turn into people who would be of a great value.
When officials questioned the site manager about continued employment of children, his response shocked the inspection team.
Child work is allowed. There is child labor, but there is child work whereby a small child is assisting the parent. That one is allowed.
Moments later, the site manager was arrested and whisked to Busia Central Police Station to assist police with investigations. The operation then shifted to Busia Central Market, where officials equally found traders still employing hundreds of children as a source of cheap labor.
Seeds, sorting what? They're the ones now employing these children. They're the ones making them to earn something like even 2,000, 10,000. Because when they employ these old people, they charge them highly.
Busia remains one of eastern Uganda's child labor hotspots. Local leaders attribute the crisis to poverty, domestic violence, and weak enforcement of labor laws, factors that continue to push children out of school and into dangerous work.
Realize that some of these children make money which is of use to their family. So they always don't show much concern.
We normally have whistles and sticks. We just chase them because we cannot beat them. When you beat them, they will rush to the police and the police will come for you.
As the crisis deepens, district leaders are calling for tougher punishment against employers who continue to exploit children.
Our target should be the employers. If you own a mine, and we find the children there working, we leave the children, we go with you.
Nationally, an estimated 6.2 million children are trapped in child labor, slavery and trafficking, with Busia among the hardest hit districts. Leaders are now calling for tougher measures to end the practice and protect the future of young generations.
More to come, brought to you by
Global Paint. Oh, for the seating. For us, we use Global Mat.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
I can tell you what I know. STIs are extremely dangerous and stubborn. Wherever they go, they become a huge problem.
Are they dangerous to the body? Are they dangerous to our government institutions and systems?
anywhere STIs go, they are stubborn and they're very difficult to deal. They are like stubborn. But when we come back from the break, we'll also be talking some big revelations on who has STIs and where exactly they are. But as well, we'll be talking somebody who has been busy on the street. We'll be interviewing these two have been busy dealing with stubbornness in ways that I cannot describe.
We've seen people running away. We've seen graders working overtime. We've seen leaders in some areas trying to show what they are doing before this group gets to them.
Some have even asked, but more importantly, we'll also be talking Amageza Makake.
You're going to explain.
Amasome, Amazari, Waruna Amakake. Let's get into the break.
Can I have a light, please? What is this?
Castle light, the best testing light.
Try it.
Try it, try it, try it.
Guys, look at this post.
Nothing hits like extra cold. Castle Light. Try it.
MTN voice bundle. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Hello, Mr. Mkasa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Are you the broker?
The original one.
I was told you have very good rentals.
That is right. How many bedrooms do you want?
I want 3 bedrooms.
Okay, did I tell you of the price?
Yes, of course. 500,000.
No. This side, the salary went a bit high.
Why?
Because the paint we use is of good quality. So the place gained the value.
Which paint?
Global paint.
How?
For the ceiling, for us we use Global Mat. And for the inside walls, we use Global Silk V9.
Okay, tell me about the outside walls.
Outside we use Global Weather Coat Emulsion so that the walls don't peel.
I'm really impressed. The precision you put while painting, I'm willing to pay any amount.
That is true, because here for us quality is paramount and the place becomes humidity.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
The problem is the foundation.
You know the kind of cement I'm using in this foundation? I guarantee you even my grandchildren will come and find this house.
You buy your buy today and get the job done. Strong, reliable, available at hardware shops countrywide.
Every business begins with belief. The belief that tomorrow can be bigger than today. But waiting to be paid should never hold ambition back. With NCBA Working Capital Solutions, unpaid invoices become opportunity. Because some ambitions build more than businesses, they build futures. At NCBA, we bank on belief, empowering ambition with tailored financial solutions built around your business. Whatever your next move, we are here to help you grow. Access unsecured loans of up to 500 million Uganda shillings plus 6 months of free banking. ku NCBA Bank. Chigwa kuwerere. Visit any NCBA Bank branch today and unlock the momentum your business deserves.
NCBA Bank. Go for it.
Samson, ongambia magezi amazale.
Amagezi amasome.
Amasome.
Waliwo abeetaaga amagezi amakake.
We are waiting for that one.
But more importantly, we will ask, is taxpayers' money given to the Ministry of Local Government supposed to be spent on trips? And is that value for money?
They need to go on retreat and plan for their ministries.
They need structures and then that interview is coming up later on as we fix Uganda.
Now, away from the interview, as global funding for refugees dwindles, one of the key safety nets in Uganda is closing. CARE International says it is ending its emergency food assistance and resilience work in Nachivale and Chiriandongo settlements. The project had been critical in cushioning the effects of ration cuts and underfunding, which routinely triggered acute food shortages for newly displaced families. With the exit, refugees must now take full charge of their survival.
Years of donor shortfalls have left Uganda's refugee response underfunded, forcing repeated food ration cuts and leaving new arrivals most vulnerable. In that gap, CARE International stepped in with emergency food and resilience programs in Nachivale and Chiriandongo. However, this $1 million project that supported over 2,000 vulnerable refugees with food support, vouchers, on and off farm livelihood skills has come to an end, leaving refugees to fend for themselves.
The project has also been working in self-reliance interventions to ensure that we transition our project participants from food assistance to self-reliance interventions.
Located in Isenjiro, Nachivale is where new refugees are first received. Each refugee is given 350,000 Uganda shillings by the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, World Food Programme and the Office of the Prime Minister to cover shelter and food. But aid agencies warn that this is just a drop in the ocean compared to what families actually need.
After receiving that short-time support of food assistance and cash-based transfers, they are now categorized based on their vulnerability, such that some are kept on the little food assistance or cash support, and then others are phased off.
Before its closure, CARE International, through partners, implemented a self-reliance initiative which has seen over 900 refugee households benefit.
And they gave us a 900 household to form them into groups, which we formed 36 groups, and out of 36 groups, 18 chose crop production, 14 chose livelihood, 3 chose tailoring, and 1 chose soap making as their enterprises.
For sustainability, the first cohort of the beneficiaries will train their fellow refugees in these enterprises so that they can also become self-dependent. Settlement commandants say there is no spoon feeding for these refugees, tasking them to hustle for their survival.
Now they are able to, if they want, someone want like 100,000, is no longer selling maybe a poultry or a household in the house. He goes to their saving group and borrow.
We are looking at creating impact among the people we serve and creating sustainability, because what happens in most cases when we give humanitarian assistance like food assistance, people will just receive the food, eat it, and then there is nothing next for that household.
Isenjiro and Kiriandongo leaders are under pressure to widen livelihood opportunities for refugees. In Nachivale, over 250,000 refugees live there, but most are still vulnerable to survive without external support.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
The parent is Tuliahewa Dixon. And the child is Tuliahewa Esther.
Kambera gwete kwa mchisha ngo ishe watu yayewa Esther wahangura school fees ngene na hateja shana amashemero magonka MTN momo eberewo mbeni nyegasta igana kaga ni 5 sta manana 0 hash kushashuro mwana school fees tokoma nyo mchisheri zagwije wanje ninga nchaka ni kubasa kuzo wawe mwebare munonga.
You wanna make tasty food and sing. You wanna do that dancing still. Candaling one no ya night. Sika de buto one night. Nailo akro ya sing. Sika de buto one night. Candaling one no ya night.
Cook better, sell better with modern healthy cholesterol-free cooking oil and modern non-sticky wheat flour. Modern Yenyabo.
Experience the ultimate in bathing luxury with Lanzo Luxury Bathing Soap. Choose from a variety of refreshing types, including menthol, antibacterial, ice cool, blueberry, coconut, and raspberry. Each one promises an upper-world, refreshing feel that redefines your experience with bathing. Lanzo Luxury Bathing Soap, the ultimate refreshing feel. Distributed by Chopper General Enterprises, located at shop number 3, Rafik Building, Chikoba, Kampala. You can find Lanzo Luxury Bathing Soap in shops and supermarkets nearby.
Better study tips. Protect your digital money from phishing scams. Be cautious of suspicious emails or texts asking you to click on links. Instead, visit the official website directly to ensure you're accessing a secure platform. In partnership with Uganda Communications Commission and NBS.
Welcome back. Now, a rare show of political unity was on display in Toro District as leaders from across the political divide put aside their differences during the Thanksgiving ceremony of the West Budama Northeast Member of Parliament, Richard Owere Machika. These pledged to put service delivery ahead of political rivalry. Now, the event was attended by Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oboth, and 3 cabinet ministers. Our reporter has the details.
Thousands of residents from West Budama, Northeast in Tororo District gathered at Paya Primary School for a Thanksgiving ceremony hosted by MP Richard Owere Machika following his election victory. The event attended by Speaker Jacob Oboth and nearly all Bukedi sub-region MPs also saw Machika unveil a new ambulance for the constituency.
The representative.
Leaders and well-wishers raised over 100 million shillings for education, but cautioned residents against unrealistic expectations of MPs.
There is a problem that emerges with us, the voters. Sometimes what we expect to come from the MP might not be entirely his role. But that's what you as a voter, you perceive as what he should do. And you will throw out that person. And the following morning you regret and begin asking, how I wish you come back to land. So we don't want the people of West Budama again to begin wondering as to why we could have made a mistake.
The Thanksgiving ceremony also served to promote political unity in Tororo District. It was the first major gathering of all elected leaders from across the district in decades, and Machika, chairperson of the Tororo District Parliamentary Caucus, was commended for fostering cooperation.
Today, under the leadership of the Right Honourable Speaker and Honourable Machika as the chairman of Tororo Caucus in Parliament, today we are all speaking one language.
The Speaker of Parliament said divisions among leaders had for years slowed the district's development, urging them to work together.
It's the first time we see all members of Parliament and the ex-official members are all here, all 100%. This is a good beginning for this new chapter of the 5 years, and we look forward to working together so that we help our people and not fight all the time.
With the education fund now in place, Machika says priority will be given to school feeding programs, scholarships for vulnerable learners, and provision of scholastic materials to improve academic performance across the constituency.
We target to feed our learners. We also target giving scholarships to the needy and very bright students who have excelled and are not admitted anywhere. We are also considering providing learning materials, scholastic materials to our learners.
These are mass programs that are for everybody. Education is for everybody. It's a game changer. Health is very important. You have to be healthy. To be productive, you need to be healthy.
There's a very big difference between dancing and being overwhelmed.
I see where you're going, Samson.
Where am I going? Do you want to know where I'm going? But there's a difference.
Yes.
Between dancing and?
It was dancing.
Not being overwhelmed by the occasion?
No.
Okay, fantastic. For years, village health teams have been the first link between communities and Uganda's healthcare system. Working in villages across the country, they identify illnesses, monitor pregnancies, track childhood immunization, and connect patients to health facilities. Now, digital technology is beginning to change how that work is done. But as Uganda rolls out digital health systems nationwide, the big question is whether technology can improve service delivery while still reaching the people who need it most. Our health reporter, Henry Mugenyi, has the story.
For many Ugandans, access to healthcare begins at home. Before a patient reaches a health facility, it is often a village health team member who makes the first assessment. Many of the VHTs have relied on handwritten registers to record household visits, monitor maternal and child health to identify patients requiring medical attention. Today, that process is increasingly moving onto digital platforms. Using smartphones and mobile applications, community health workers can capture patient information electronically, make referrals, monitor follow-up visits, and submit reports directly onto the National Health Information System.
So the program really started as a recognition of the need for the digital innovations that we are enjoying in the urban areas of Uganda or the rest of the world can also be taken to some of these other regions that are being left behind. And that's how the program got to be called Leaving No One Behind in the Digital Era.
What we've provided for the VHT is a mechanism for them, one, to register a household. The tool itself can provide them reminders, tell them that there are households on this side that you have not visited in a long time. There's a pregnant mother that you need to follow up on. There's a child that you referred that you probably want to check on. So it can provide this kind of reminder, and it eases their process of knowing the priorities that they have to follow up on.
Health officials say digital reporting is improving the availability of timely information, enabling health workers and managers to respond more effectively to the needs of communities. The approach is also reducing delays associated with paper-based reporting and improving access to health data for planning and decision-making.
So if you look at the VHT model, if you look at the agent model in agriculture, or the DCE model, the Digital Community Entrepreneurship model that UNCDF has spearheaded, at the bottom of it is really a community-led distribution system but that goes beyond just distributing the digital solutions, that mainly does the activation, the education, the awareness, but the sustained support.
However, stakeholders say the benefits of digital transformation will only be realized if access to technology is equitable. The Leaving No One Behind in the Digital Era initiative is intended to ensure that digital services are accessible to vulnerable populations.
Is the network adequate? Are there enough agents to support in the distribution and acquisition of these solutions? Then we had to look at what solutions, and these are the innovations, the business models that would work for this region and for the people we're looking at. Okay. So beyond infrastructure, we looked at the innovations that could be relevant for these people. Then we looked at what can we do to drive adoption, which is the customer empowerment.
The Ministry of Health says digital systems are designed to complement, not replace, the role played by village health teams.
It provides them a step-by-step aid when they are providing services. For example, when they are seeing a child, it can tell them that, okay, now, can you check the temperature? Can you record that? Can you ask the mother whether the child has had diarrhea in the last 3 days?
While digital systems offer new opportunities, implementation continues to face several obstacles, especially limited internet connectivity, inconsistent electricity supply, and shortages of digital devices. They say addressing these gaps will be essential if technology is to deliver sustainable improvements in healthcare.
We have very good examples of how mobile money has changed how financial services are consumed. Around Uganda, we have very good examples of how services in health, in education, are being transformed.
Now, over the years, government embarked on one of its most ambitious industrialization drives in the history to build its dream of a $500 billion economy. But do you know what happens after government dishes public finances into these private entities? What exactly is at stake for you as a Ugandan? Tonight, we track down the pennies that are lying silently in private entities.
In 2021, government established the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat under the Office of the President with a mission to mobilize, coordinate and provide strategic oversight and policy guidance to scientists and stakeholders along prioritized industrial value chains. And over the years, ideas have come to life, jobs have been created, reduction of imports, commercialized science, and the future seems rosy. Day Biopharma is advancing healthcare through innovation. Inspire Africa is creating a young generation of African entrepreneurs. Kira Motors is providing ultimate mobility solutions, among other great science innovations. Fixing Uganda edition looks beyond the flashy events and majestic structures to look into the trickle-down effect of public funds and accountability.
So we need to fix the execution.
Say the devil is always in the detail.
It's a lot of money. Okay. And it must be accounted for.
The Prime Minister's office paid Inspire Africa 2 billion shillings.
In the financial year 2025-2026, government allocated a whopping 814.2 billion shillings to the science, technology and innovation to accelerate industrialization and high-tech manufacturing. Tracking back in 2024, Finance Minister asked for financing for unforeseen and unavoidable expenditures amounting to 1.1 billion shillings. This was the second schedule of the supplementary budget in the 2023-2024 financial year. Of these sums, shillings 578 billion was allocated to a private entity, Day Biopharma Limited, through the Vote 167, Science, Technology and Innovation to support strategic pharmaceutical industrial investment. Day Biopharma has received a cumulative total of 723.4 billion shillings in funding from the government. The financial support began with an initial allocation of 70 billion, which was granted during the financial year 2023-2024, followed by an additional 75 billion in December 2023, 578.4 billion shillings that was provided through supplementary as the company sought financing to be bailed out from debt and operational costs. Government looked at share acquisition.
In Parliament, we did ask the ministers for a valuation report. They did not have it. And they were honest with us and they said valuation has not been done yet. Yeah. So I said, why then are you asking us to give money for government to buy a stake in a company whose value you do not know? Common sense says no.
Most recently, President Yoweri Museveni directed the Ministry of Finance to allocate 1.6 trillion shillings toward Day Biopharma to complete its manufacturing facilities in Matuga and at the starch processing factory in Kamuli, sparking public debate over value for money. Even with such huge investment, government shares whose certificate is not publicly known for the Auditor General failed to have access to it amounts to only 9.4%.
The government of Uganda is saying for 9.4%, we are giving it $268 million. That means the market cap of Day Pharma that has not produced a single vaccine, it has not produced a tablet, it is grappling with death. The market cap, it means it's $2.6 billion. So it means we're just throwing away money. Even after that, you can see that today you have complaints on social media. Their staff have not been paid. Where is this money going?
Subject that to a mathematical equation. You come, it's straightforward. We did not determine that. Ours had actually given about 7.9, our valuer. But we agreed with government valuer. He said, in a research, in statistics, we have the variance, the margin of error in calculation. So the contract, the agreement exists. Honorable members, the relationship between the government and Day Pharma was sealed in writing.
The project has attracted oversight, with the leader of opposition and the budget committee all reviewing operations in 2024. A report from the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi, highlights grave concerns in sync with the minority budget committee report. Lack evidence of a special board resolution granting government shares in the company. No evaluation of the company by the chief government valuer to ascertain the company's worthiness. No memorandum and articles of association to establish the actual owners of the company. There was no disclosure of beneficial owners as a new requirement in the Company Act to curtail money laundering. No memorandum of understanding or agreement spelling out key obligations. And as part of their findings, Day Biopharma failed to present any documentation or agreements with government and the valuation of the company. There was no production of essential medicines and vaccines despite the high promises. But interestingly, when pressed for speedy delivery, production and subsequent accountability for government funds, the proprietor expressed readiness to refund the 723.4 billion shillings to government soon.
It's a lot of money. Okay. And it must be accounted for. It's taxpayers' money, yeah? Yes. Two, you have said something interesting that, in fact, you'd want to give it back to government so that other people can use it. So it begs the question, why the bailout if maybe there was no real need? But two, if you're saying, okay, you were sabotaged, then government came in, and so you're saying you actually want to give it back, when is that going to happen?
Can government elucidate on this matter? These are the concerns that are crucial more when looking into the agreements government holds in public-private partnerships. Dr. Fred Muhumza is a development economist who is privy to this impasse.
That is where we have a problem, or where the solution would lie. In that space, who initiates? Is it a proposal brought by the private investor? And what is the private investor putting on the table? That's where sometimes areas become a little bit misty, because you may find the whole project is 200 billion and government has literally brought the entire 200 billion. So you want to ask, what did the private person bring on board? And many times you'll find the business is owned by the private person who brought literally very little. And yet in the normal shareholding, the main shareholder is the one who brought in the bulk of the money or the bulk of the capital. And we are not even sometimes allowed to audit these businesses because they are categorized as private entities. And the private entity, you can't send their government's external auditor. Auditor General can't go there because it's a private entity.
This presents a situation of no accountability and no transparency between Day Biopharma and government, yet taxpayers continue on a burdening journey of investing to no returns.
So I'm sure politicians are siphoning money from this entity so that the entity can carry favor, so that next budgeting cycle they can keep getting money. We need the government of Uganda to be a bit more open and transparent with the citizens, because this money could have gone to financing hospitals. But to the extent that it has gone to this, and we think that it's an important pursuit, there should be some sort of openness, not some sort of blank check, and protection from scrutiny, because, you know, you'll piss off the president, this is the president's idea, and all that stuff. I imagine the president also wants to see a successful day. He wants to see a successful investment, because also his legacy rests on this.
In one of his presentations, Dr. Magola showcases novel Day Biopharma products worth $300 billion market patents and have failed over 100 patents in the USA. He presents Day Biopharma as an entity creating the first comprehensive life-saving products in Africa to support patient care and drive workplace innovation. By closing the loop and delivering novel products, we make them affordable that was never possible before. As Day Biopharma continues to advance healthcare promises, accountability continues to elude a would-be life-securing entity.
Have you ever seen an audit trail of this company? But we are putting $1 trillion shillings there, and they are coming for more. What did our trillion do? I want to see on the floor of Parliament people debating the audit report of Day Pharma, or the coffee guys, or Atiak.
Not just them, Inspire Africa Coffee, boosting quality coffee production and domestic coffee production, is another entity whose accountability rolls heads.
This was our journey. A couple of us forget to start. A couple of us, it's hard for us to start.
So far, a whopping 179 to 180 billion shillings, about $26 million to $50 million public funds has been invested by government into the private company Inspire Africa Coffee Factory in Ntungamo.
This is an investment that needs all Ugandans at every level to protect.
In the financial year 2023-2024, government undertook to establish a tertiary hub for last-mile coffee value addition in Ntungamo district through the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat in the Office of the President. This is another public-private partnership with the Coffee Investment Consortium Uganda and Inspire Africa Coffee, both privately registered entities. Over 450 billion shillings, that is $122 million, has been sunk into the Ntungamo promise of value addition to Uganda's coffee, constantly cash in from government in billions, but to what use?
What was reported is that the Prime Minister's office paid Inspire Africa 2 billion shillings to teach Ugandans.
Sarah, we shall reach on the money. First of all,
But what do you know about the investment arrangement with government? What type of shares are acquired, if any, and how many? Can the Ugandan stake be tangible? Who will account for the investment in entertainment versus the promise of value addition?
And I think that's where we still have a problem. The principle and the practice of PPPs is good, is necessary, but how you handle it, as they say, the devil is always in the detail.
Warehouses too tall, machines are silent, but the promise is alive. Products seen on public functions: instant coffee, drip coffee, malt coffee, coffee energy drinks, as well as beauty cosmetics. And the taxpayer keeps questioning, was this the deal?
Expensive international artists being flown here and being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. I see marathons happening, and then a guy says, yeah, we're going to have a coffee marathon, and then the proceeds we shall donate to the women in Bugisu, to help them build their coffee businesses or to help them build themselves. And then you wait and you're like, yeah, how much are you going to spend to give these people? How much do you think you're going to raise? Maybe 300 million shillings. But you're spending $500,000 on this festival. To raise 300 million shillings to donate to those women? The math doesn't work. So if you have a proper board that is following Ugandans' money, they need to be able to ask, why? Why are you flying Tyrese or God knows what to come and sing for people in Tungamo?
The Auditor General set the record straight. There is no memorandum of understanding between the government of Uganda and this private entity, so the manner in which money was extended to the entity is not clear. It is wrong for taxpayers' money to be spent without any clearly defined binding relationship between government and Inspire Africa Coffee and no documentation whatsoever. There was no clarity on whether this arrangement would result into a joint shareholding, a grant arrangement, or a bailout. The leader of opposition in his oversight visit in 2024 noted with concern that
many of the projects we have been to Lubowa Hospital, 600 billion shillings, Atiak Sugar, 553 billion shillings, Day by a Farmer, meant to produce medicine and vaccines, 723 billion shillings, Roko, 263 billion shillings, and all of those we don't see value for money. And I've told him that's why Ugandans are concerned about this too. They are thinking this is another project where money will be thrown and there gets to be no value.
So there are a lot of gaps, and the Auditor General, as I've said, has raised these glaring gaps. Whereas we said in some cases even the government doesn't have the share certificate. So you can't even come and say I own. Give me a report. On basis of what? There was a memorandum of understanding that you're joining me, but it was not formalized and legally formalized. So I am not following any legal obligation to report to you as a shareholder. It's a missing gap. When do we get to these spaces? Government gives out its land. Is it on a lease or sale? Do you still have a right in here? That kind of thing is missing. In some cases, we have even invested with private entities, and the land is not necessarily owned by the company that is doing the investment. So it can even get as more complex as that. The real land owner, if he comes up and says, leave my land, both of you are at stake of leaving. The private investor will say government can't be chased, because after all it gives the titles and they want to enforce the chasing anyway. So there are quite a number of gaps that we have in these areas that at the end of the day it is very hard to assess what is the benefit on the basis of what did we want to achieve.
Government has intensified agro-industrialization initiatives driven by scientific innovation aimed at increasing value addition, branding, and export competitiveness.
Huge investments, but without evaluation, due diligence, and accountability. According to the annual budget monitoring report for financial year 2024-2025, the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat has the biggest share of the annual budget at 92.8%.
It is not science of making money, it is the science of stealing. It is the science of using nepotism and influence peddling to get to the soup kitchen of a welfare state. And to the extent that that process is not open, we shall have a problem, and a lot of the jockeys we pick to ride our horses to the future are going to fail us.
While right to reply is critical, none of the proprietors was available for a comment as calls went unanswered and others away on duty.
President Yoweri Museveni came out of the bush in 1986 with a plan to fix a broken Uganda. And he did try a bit of that with his bush war buddies. Did a big job of that. Lately, he seems to be turning to the vigor of the Bazukuru to help him fix Uganda. And every Sunday, we will be here taking audit of that fixing of this nation. And some fixing there will be.
Yeah, we want to listen, get accountability, get to the ground, and get the truth.
And when President Yoweri Museveni decided to fix Uganda with his Bazukuru, he turned to Balaam Bargahara, pulled him out of Bivuru, brought him into local government. And then as well, he brought another very energetic young lady who takes no prisoners, the Honorable Justin Namere. She's been very clear. Some of you, Mwina Mageza Masomi. Others, Mazari. Her problem, Mwabaina Makaki. That is the big problem. And tonight on Fixing Uganda, I do have the pleasure to sit with the Honorable Justin Namere as we fix Uganda. It's a pleasure having you. on fixing Uganda.
Nakano kazekako.
I am neutral. I am supposed to be neutral. How have you been?
I've been well, thank you.
Very well, thank you.
Yes, please.
I saw you in gumboots. It was raining and slippery. People are saying that stuff is done for the show, that you're doing all that stuff for the cameras and you are enjoying it in the process. Let me hear from you. Is it challenging or is all that stuff for the show?
I don't understand. Help me understand people who believe going to a road where government has spent money in doing my job and my senior minister doing his job of supervising is for the camera. You can turn off your camera, we shall still do the job. And there's a lot we do away from the camera, by the way.
I'm believing so, but the big thing is, where does this fire come from? Because there are also those saying, mwagala kulabisa your predecessors. That you want to be seen as the ones working, those before you either didn't love Uganda enough or just didn't know what to do.
Honorable Balam has been a Minister of State for Children and Youth, and I have been a senior presidential advisor. I don't remember my modus operandi being any different. Yes.
Very interesting.
The only difference is probably now we are dealing with more national issues, but he's always been an energy action-based kind of leader, even when he was in the docket of youth and children. And actually when you say that the president picked him out of the Bivulu, no, Bivulu is his side hustle and it's long gone, and he's been in governance. He was in youth and children, and he started very good. He started a very good campaign where he would involve the youth and encourage them to be whistleblowers. Just voluntarily whistleblow anything. He went around the entire country. He actually came to Greater Masaka region when I was still a senior presidential advisor and later NRM flag bearer for Manempi Masaka City. And he moved around the entire, and the youth were really contributing. He said, as the youth, you could just use your phone to record all these things, to show things that are not being done the proper way, to be a service delivery kind of extra eye. And it worked. So he's just, the only difference is maybe my energies from senior presidential advisor and then his energies that he's been using as he ran the youth ministry are now put to something that has bigger problems. So what is triggering the camera in the attention of Ugandans is not just the ministers, but the problems, the impunity, the fact that somebody can take $1 billion or $500 million for a bridge and there's no bridge.
And I want to get into...
That's the headline. And the headline is not necessarily Honorable Balam and Honorable Namiri. The headline is what's going wrong.
And I want to get into that because my fly on the wall tells me that on the day you were handed the office, that you spoke and the person in the room told me they've never seen government officials that scared. And the reason I ask is, Ugandan thieves don't fear courts. They'll tell you, Genam Koti.
They don't.
They seem not to fear police stations because they've found a way around that.
That's accurate.
Do you think and feel that in fighting corruption, you need to be an individual that is feared? Because what now we are hearing is public officials are running away. Do you think it's important to be feared and that in itself, there's nothing wrong with it?
You see, you cannot negotiate with chaos. What people do when they get to police and courts is negotiations and lawyers using superlatives and nouns and finding their way around theft. But when you come with the methods of Honorable Balam and his Minister of State, Honorable Namere, you are dealing with the public court, you are dealing with public accountability, you are dealing with exposing the corrupt. It was a very brilliant idea by the president President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, when he told us that go to the people, have the public money accounted for publicly with the owners of the money, and that is the people.
So how
involve them?
How have you been able to become that feared person that people are running away from you? We'll get to that.
Because we're not in bed with the corrupt. Let me tell you something. Get up one morning, and for no matter what the ministry is, get up one morning and you're not with the mess, and you're not with the chaos, you will be feared. But for as long as there is even the slightest of stain or conflict of interest on your side, you can never fight corruption. So I'm not interested, like you said, some people believe your predecessors and whatever. I'm not interested in what the predecessors did. It wasn't part of my job description to keep up with my predecessors, no, or my senior minister's predecessors. Our job is very simple. End corruption, make sure service delivery is alive. Okay. And that's exactly what we're doing. We don't know if whoever was there before us, because we have many predecessors, we don't know which ones you mean. Okay. We have predecessors of 15 years ago, 30 years ago, 5 years ago, so we don't know which group you're talking about. But for sure, we've had a senior minister and minister of state of local government for so many past years.
Absolutely.
So we are really not interested in who did what and who did not do what. What we're interested in is exactly what we've embarked on, and that is making sure there is actually service delivery. We want a road that has been commissioned or launched to be constructed in 6 months or 8 months to actually be constructed.
No extensions.
Over to the people.
No more money.
Extensions, no additional fees, no negotiations, no mess, no dilly-dallings, no niceties, no nothing. Just construct the road and leave. If a health center has 16 health workers, we need all of you on duty and on time.
You seem to be even against slave. But let's get to where you've been. You've been across the entire country. You've been to Gulu, and I'd like to get to where you have been in Gulu, for instance. It's been very interesting to see some of the things that have been happening in the places where you've been, like Gulu. You've been to Mbale as well. I'm very sure about that. You've been to Bulambuli, and it's very interesting what is coming out of these places. What are some of the staggering findings in these trips?
My findings is if there is no supervision, there will never be service delivery in Uganda. People work when they are bulldozed, when they are being watched. The other day I was coming from a function in my constituency in a place called Chanjali. There had been a transformer that's been down for about 3 months. And I think in another village or small town, there had been another transformer that's been down for about 6 weeks. And then when I engaged the people of UEDCL, I made sure I engaged them with the public. And they gave me all these excuses. And I said, you know what? I was saying this to the regional head of UEDCL in Gutamasaka. I said, you know what? It's Friday today. If by Monday, end of business, we don't have those 2 transformers up and running with all the money that people are losing and all this desperation that you can see clearly, if we don't have them, I'm going to tell police to close the UEDCL offices. You're going to be arrested for abuse of office. We shall have the president involved. Jobs will be re-advertised, and we get people that can work. Guess what? The 2 transformers were up and running on Monday.
People are saying that...
I don't know why people want to serve after being bulldozed.
Whoever you are talking to has a family, has a wife, has children, and you are embarrassing them.
Excuse me, you are talking about embarrassment. I am talking about an entire town, a transit town, where people's refrigerators are down, where people's businesses are dead. Do you know that in most of the towns we have in Uganda, especially the urban centers, do you know that there are Ugandans who pay loans daily? Do you know that there are Ugandans who, to run a restaurant, to run a juice business, to run a clothes shop, there is a loan that they must pay daily? They pay the cooking oil woman, they pay this one, they have to save money for rent. Then people are paying debts on a daily, in fact, the daily income, about 70%. So any day, many Ugandans are about 48 hours away from bankruptcy in the urban centers especially.
And the daily loan never gets let and doesn't wait.
Doesn't wait. Now you are busy telling me you're permanent and pensionable and whatever, and you're in an office, you're driving around a government vehicle, you're paid regardless whether you're in bed or on leave or anything. And you want me to address matters that affect this Ugandan. You want me to address them with you with such decorum, adorn you with so much grace, sit in your air-conditioned office, negotiate with you. We shall not.
Honorable Namere, you're just coming into government. There is a way we talk to government people. We address them as sir. From the colonial days. We wait for them. When they are not around, we come back another day. You will understand how government works. So Chari Mupia, you will come down. That's what they say. That you will eventually learn how government systems work.
There's a time I was reported
You're laughing very sarcastically. This is very serious.
Yeah, you wish. There's a time I was reported to His Excellency the President for tearing a court order. Somebody came flying around a certain court order when they wanted to take an old woman's land in Kalangala. She had been growing her palm trees for about 25 years, and she had her paperwork right. And somebody wanted to grab the land, and the police, instead of protecting her, they were protecting the land grabber, because they claimed he has an interim court order where all of them should vacate the land. The land grabber and the poor woman that has been on this land for 25 years, putting in her youthful years, putting in all her energy to grow palm trees on 7 acres for 25 years. That the land grabber, because they're flying around a court paper, the land grabber and this poor woman, the court order is saying they should both temporarily vacate the land. I told the police officer, who do you think is at the loss? Is it the one that has been in possession of the land or this one? So he said, you sound scared of the court order. I said, okay, so this paper is why you're scared. I tore the paper. And I said, so you have nothing else to be scared of. You tell them I couldn't act on a court order which had been torn by the senior presidential advisor. So he went on to protect the woman, and of course, eventually the president gave us a lawyer who helped the woman, and that madness was put to an end. So these laws were not, the laws and protocols were not written to protect thieves. They were written to make sure government does not work in silos, to make sure there is coordination between one ministry, one department, and another, and to make sure service delivery is alive. So we shall use the laws to protect taxpayers and to protect service delivery and to protect systems, but not to protect thieves. I also want to inform people that are suspects of corruption that Donald Trump, the president of the most powerful economy in the world, when he was suspected of tax evasion, of under declaration and all these things, he was tried publicly. Yes, it was embarrassing, but public money, public accountability, simple.
They're saying that tomorrow Namere will not be around. Maybe we need to build systems so that when you go with your energy, they work. But I'll also ask you, as we come into Sheila with what is happening on social media, I also need to know, government has auditors. It has people who are supposed to be supervising. Are people paid to supervise also being supervised? And aren't they taking a salary?
Without risking.
We'll come to that. But it's
coming to you.
Yes.
Without risking our whistleblowers.
Yes.
I will privately, without the camera seeing, I will privately show you a report of some of our whistleblowers in the different areas. The Minister of Local Government is going to be in Masaka tomorrow. He's set in the Greater Masaka region tomorrow. When you look at the reports from the whistleblowers, some of the whistleblowers have evidence of reports they have already reported to IGG, of reports they have already taken to court, and nothing has been done. These auditors you're talking about, this is what the corrupt do. The corrupt sit down and prepare a budget for whoever has to audit them. They prepare a budget, 50 million will be for the person from IGG office, 50 million will be for the person from ISO, the DISO, 50 million will be for the RDC, 50 million. So before you even come, or as you arrive and say, I am Samson Kasumba, I am here
from the Auditor
General's
General's
office, from the Auditor General's office, your package is ready.
And I'll ask
and they had prepared these packages for us, but they are aware. We have been very clear. You come with a package, we're going to arrest you. There is one that the minister arrested in Namisindu.
So they know how it works. The minister comes, you...
Yes. There is one that was arrested with about 250 million prepared for Honorable Balam. Yes. At first he had tried to go through another minister, and the other minister said, no, I'm not involving myself in that. And I think he went through one of the assistant RDCs or something, and the minister said, no, let's arrest this person. So let me tell you something. This is what's going to happen. Whoever is not happy with Honorable Balam and blah, 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 and Honorable Namiri and how they are not working, you're going to keep being unhappy, and we're going to fix local government and service delivery and have a sane country.
Local government is going to be fixed.
Whether we want it or not. So it's not about to stop.
It is the 250 million for me.
I really want to see that person. They have guts. Because how?
But also on set, we are going to be shown something that the viewers may not have a beauty to see. Let's get into the feedback and what
Let's get online, and we'll have the Honorable Minister respond to some of these questions. Wealth creation projects promise support for small businesses, but many traders haven't received inputs. Minister, where is the accountability? Right? The wealth creation projects promise support for small businesses, but many traders haven't received inputs. Minister, where is the accountability? That is from Peter Msoke. We are taking the questions as they come in, and that is from X. We have Agnes Nabide. Roads connecting farms to markets are impassable during rains. And I think we saw the Honorable State Minister visiting some of those roads. How will local government prioritize rural access roads to boost agriculture? So maybe, Honorable Minister, we can...
Can you answer the two as they come, yeah?
I think one of the second question helped me answer. The second question has helped me answer some of your questions.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. We are not just saving Ugandans a loss in terms of the budget of the construction of the road, but the millions of money being lost due to the impossibility because
the service not being delivered.
A farmer cannot get their produce to the market. People are here in Kampala sending money to their relatives to grow fast-growing crops, to grow things like onions, to grow things like eggplants, things that actually make money. They do make money.
If the roads are fixed.
If the roads are fixed.
Okay.
Now those, to me, that is a bigger loss than even the 500 million or the 1 billion that is meant to construct that road. Because such stories are so many. She just told you she's a farmer and the roads are impassable.
So yours is, it will not matter. The road will be fixed.
The road will be fixed. If we have to embarrass people's husbands and people's children, please go and tell your husbands to use government money for what it's meant for, so that they are not embarrassed.
Does it help that when the president was swearing in, he says, this Chisanja is not for politeness?
It's not.
Did he have you in mind?
He told you so himself.
Because at that time he had not yet appointed cabinet. But I think when he said that, he had you in mind and Balam. Now, there's another question, Sheila, here.
The other question was why isn't wealth creation giving farmers more inputs? That is supposed to come under the parish development model. We are still just we're going to use a few months to evaluate, probably this quarter, to evaluate the performance of the PDM before we can embark on a layout of more inputs.
Okay.
For now, we want to see what has worked and what hasn't worked.
Okay.
But the end result is we must make everything work. There's not going to be any protocol. There's not going to be any niceties. Everything you guys are talking about is true.
Okay.
And we know it. Whoever is not happy with how Honorable Balam is doing work and the fact that thieves are being roughed up in public, bundled on police trucks and taken to court. You know, people are used to the fact that, oh, they've arrested them. Well, go fix it at the police. They're not used to the fact that somebody, the minister, directs for arrest of somebody on Friday, and on Monday they're in court, and the same Monday they're on remand, and the same week there's an acting person in their position, and the same week the project that they failed, that the project they stole from is actually refocused. You understand? People are not used to that, because away from just arrests, this is our